Bang! What's up, everybody? This is just going to be a quick little video to first thank everybody that is getting their surveys in. We've actually seen a huge response in the survey so far. Did I just sound like Trump? It's huge. I swear. It's the biggest survey that's ever been surveyed. But I appreciate you guys doing it, especially because it looks like it's going to be even bigger than the response to the initial survey, which tells me that you guys understand that your feedback actually matters, and we are actually acting specifically based on the feedback. I mean, I was a player for 17 years before I owned the game, and that was always the goal, is to make this a players-based game. That's how this is going to become a business, is to directly take player user feedback, build it into the game, grow the game, push it back out, and keep that feedback loop going. I think when I talk about the flexibility of the game and all of those things that are, current state going into future state, but mostly in future state, that's how this thing is going to grow as a community, is by making it as flexible and based on feedback as possible. So thank you for all of you that have gotten your feedback in. Even if you're just sending in feedback to bitch about where the game is now, we need that. We need that. That's super, super important, because we not only use that as a roadmap of where to go with it, but we also use it as a way to prioritize what's happening out there. And so please, if you get a chance, there's lots of close-ended rating questions, and we're going to be using some of those as benchmarks that we're going to use every 3, 6, 12 months, whatever it is, to rate if we are doing a good job or we're doing a bad job. So those are really important. But those open-ended questions, I'd really love if everybody could, if there's something you feel strongly about, not only, click strongly sucks or I love it, but also put in there why, because getting a little bit of context to it certainly helps and helps us understand how to adapt, and really understands what the pulse of the community is, because none of this works without you. So I'm not going to get into any of the feedback I've seen so far, because I don't want to skew any of the feedback that's still to come. So I'm not going to answer anything from that, but definitely will follow up once we close the survey and talk through that in more detail. But main thing is, I just want to hit that. We did have a couple Q&A that I will answer, though, because I don't necessarily think it's going to affect the feedback, and I just thought a couple of them were fun. One of the questions we got in was, in 2nd grade, my dad went out to check on Grandpa, and he never came back. That's what the last few months of CSFBL without Zubaz feels like. Is that accurate? That's exactly accurate. That is a 1-for-1 perfect comparison. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I moved to a ranch in the hill country of Texas, and the internet is the worst out there. Now, it's not a permanent problem. We're scheduled to get Starlink in July, and right now all I have is Viasat, which is a high Earth satellite, and so the latency or ping rate is like 600 to 700, whereas the ping rate for your Wi-Fi is probably 20, to put it in perspective. But the ping rate for Starlink, at least in this area, has been like 10 to 20. So in many cases, it's better than normal Wi-Fi, because it's a low Earth satellite that you've probably seen it go through the sky. All the dots everybody thinks is UFOs is actually Starlink. And so I'm really excited to get that, because then I can bring back live shows. I can bring back podcasts. And big thanks to my man Marsupial, because unfortunately he was going to be the next person on the podcast when I got out to the ranch and realized it did not work. So as soon as we get Starlink back, Marsupial, if you're still willing, let's get that done. I have a lot of good stuff to talk to you about. And also, to whoever wrote this question, I am sorry to hear about your dad. I'm sure he's going to be back soon. But also, in the move and getting set up with the house, the goal was to start doing some smaller quick hit shows. And so working on that too, and I think I have the ability to start doing that. So hopefully over the next couple months, we're going to be, or me personally, will be able to start pushing out a lot more content again. So thanks for bearing with me there during a pretty big life change for me, moving to a ranch in the middle of nowhere. One of the questions that I guess maybe I'll hold on that question and wait till the feedback. But I'll just leave it because I want to get all your feedback. And there's one thing that I'm hearing a lot, but whatever that thing is, also say it if you're feeling it, because we need to make sure that I don't skew the feedback at all, so that we can understand the priority of some of these things. But let's just say that one, top priority. Don't worry about it, or do worry about it. Put in the feedback. See, I'm already screwing it up. Just please fill out the survey. Love you so much. Next question. What is the most interesting thing coming to the game in the next 6 months? Without a doubt, it's going to be the rewrite of the game. Now that the big update, which had to get done so that we weren't replacing broken code, is complete and out there. I know the game isn't perfect right now. In fact, it's tough for me too, and I'm trying to figure out which parts of it are just me not being used to something new that's inevitably and eventually going to be objectively better, and how much of it still needs to be improved because it's not right or not great or not optimized. So I'm going through it too. I'm filling out a survey too, to get my voice into the data as well. But without a doubt, the most interesting and exciting thing coming in the next 6 months is the rewrite. The rewrite changes everything. And we're in the most painful time, to be honest, for CSFBL, because we're now dealing with essentially a base game. And I wouldn't say basic game, but it has the least amount of options and features and etc. that it will ever have. So it's the base game that we're rewriting. So the rewrite changes everything, because now we're at a platform that's much more scalable. The UI is going to be much more intuitive, better. It's going to be easier to use. Hopefully it's a lot more optimized for mobile. I only say hopefully because it almost assuredly will be, but I just haven't seen that yet. But very excited about what that ends up looking like. And then it allows us to be on a supported platform in .NET, upgrading from ASP Classic or Classic ASP to a platform that is rather ubiquitous, and it allows us to get both internally upgrade our game and add features and add flexibility and add. It also allows us to bring in others to help us if we need help externally, because it's really hard to find. It's like right now, it's like bringing in people that know how to read Sanskrit. Like we got to upgrade, and the speed of technology moves very quickly, and it was the biggest thing holding us back from where we eventually want to be. So next 6 months, upgrade. I'm not sure who wrote this, but it says, who do you think is the most handsome guest you've ever had on your podcast? Certainly that's from somebody that's been on the podcast that really wants me to say their name. I'm not sure. I think, Clone now has this whole Silver Fox thing going on, so he's definitely a candidate. Perry is a good-looking guy. Maybe I'll say Perry. I want to say Pimp because you kind of have to, because Pimp, like, you do what you're told. And he kind of, like, if we could put him in the right garb, he would look like a pimp, and that's a compliment, as far as you know. So I don't know. We'll go with Perry. He's a good-looking guy. Sorry to Slick and everybody else that's been on the podcast. Perry won. Actually, maybe we should do an evening gown thing, though. We gotta see everybody in the swimsuit evening gown, like do it Miss USA style. Cologne, add that to the list. We'll do that as some content, get everybody in dresses. Last one was, is there a user survey coming out soon? So yes, it's out there right now. And keep in mind that we're not just saying that you can fill it in anonymously. It is absolutely anonymous. You can look on the FAQs on SurveyMonkey. There really is no way for us to see who sends it in. It's good and bad, because one thing I saw in the surveys is a couple people asking specific questions that likely apply to them that we can't get into, or that we can't get back to them directly. So we're going to have to answer kind of like esoteric questions publicly. And so definitely put your name in there if you want us to get back to you directly. So there it is. So I just wanted to give a little push for everybody to get in on the survey. It is super important, because keep in mind, we've been hitting the gas this whole time, but we've been hitting this gas in almost a remediation fashion, where we were fixing old code to not duplicate old code, to write new code, then to advance the game. So where this changes a lot is once we get the rewrite out into the world, and any inevitable bugs and glitches. I was going to say blugs. Let's just call it that. They're bugs and glitches. Once we get all the blugs out of the system, then we can hit the gas just on feature creation, optionality and creation, all of those things. So I know that some of you have been struggling with some of the changes, and I'd add myself to that list. I appreciate you understanding that this is going to be kind of the bumpiest part of this whole experience. If you are kind enough and generous enough with your time and your patience to stick with us through as we get into the rewrite, we can really hit the gas so that everybody's league is fully supported. Everybody's league idea is possible. And how you hope the game is played, and really how the game outcomes exist through eras and different optionality like that. It's really important for us to get all of that feedback on what you're hoping to get out of the game long term, because this is our chance. For 20 years, we've hoped that there was a chance that something like this could happen. This is our chance to make sure that we create a new normal around here that is a game for communities, with communities full of individuals. So I'll leave it there. Thank you very much. Till next time, I got to run home. Actually, I got to work more. I have to be here the rest of the day. Then I'm going to run home.